good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We will wait for another minute or two for everyone to join us. In the meantime, please make yourself comfortable. We're about to get started. I can see some people joining in. Welcome. We will be starting in just a few seconds. All right, so it's 2:01. For the benefit of everyone who was here on time, let's get started. Good afternoon. My name is Anna. I will be your host for today. I'm also joined by my colleagues, William, Amanda, and Taylor. They are our panelists for today, and they will be assisting you answering your questions. So a bit of housekeeping in the very beginning. The webinar will take about 25 to 30 minutes together with your questions. We will be using some polls, so please do participate in those. We would love to hear from you. If and when you have any questions, please use the Q&A box for that. It will allow us to manage all those questions efficiently. And if you would like to chat to us, please use the chat. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, and everything else that you would like to share with us today, and your fellow agents, of course. Finally, we are expecting a very large audience today, which is very exciting. And please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, which state you're from, which agency you represent, maybe even the mood you're currently in. Just drop us a smiley face in the chat. We would love to hear from you. All right, without any further ado, let's get started. In today's webinar, we are going to be talking about the compliance workflow. We have a very powerful automation to support your work in Reapit PM. And today we will be discussing how to set all those features up, and finally, how to use the compliance workflow to follow up with your creditors and your owners. For that, let's get started. And I will take us to our poll because this is what I want to do. Just give me 1 second. And I'm just going to bring up a question for you. And please do introduce yourself in the chat in the meantime while I'm launching the poll. All right. So for your compliance workflow, what are you currently using? Have you been using compliance workflow in Reapit PM? Do you know that it exists? Do you know what it is? Maybe you would like some guidance with that. And if not, how do you currently manage your compliance items? Whether you're using spreadsheets or calendar reminders, maybe you are talking to creditors and they remind you what needs to be done. Maybe you've got something else, some other means of keeping on track. Let us know. I can see some answers coming through. That's exciting. Some people actually use the compliance workflow and they love it, which is great. That's exactly what we want to hear. Some people do need a bit of guidance, and that's perfectly fine. That's why we are here today. All right, so I will end the poll and share the results with you because this is really interesting. Right, so as you can see, some people love it, some people need a bit of guidance, some people still use calendar reminders, some people use some other means. All right, so to get us all on the same page, let's actually start working through the compliance. Okay, when it comes to working with your Reapit PM, with your compliance items from Reapit PM, we have quite a few features to support you. First of all, you may know, you may remember that in Reapit PM, your central hub for all the information is your property tab. So this is what the property manager is using to work from, to manage different things during their day. So today we'll have a look at how this works for your compliance workflow. First things first, I'm using our database. We have got a few examples there. And if we were to go to our properties menu on the left-hand side and navigate to our residentials, this is what we're about to see. As always, we have our portfolios at the very top, but underneath, we have those tiles with various workflows. Now, right now, as you can see, there is no compliance workflow there. Well, believe me, it is there. If we click on Change Order, this is where you can see the list of all your available workflows. If for any reason you're using one of them more than the other one, feel free to bring it to the top. So for this example today, I'm going to work with our compliance workflow. All I'm doing, I'm just clicking on it and dragging it to the very top. I'm applying this new design to my dashboard. At this point of time, I can see all my compliance items sitting here at the very top. If I click on my compliance items here, I can see my at a glance screen for all of the items. I can see my expired items. I can see the items that will be due within 7 days, items ready to finalize, and even my non-compliant reports will also be showing there. What else we've got here? We've got an option to search our compliance items using the search bar. Let's say I am interested to see if I've got any compliance items coming for one of my properties. Simply typing the address of my property brings up this property for me on the screen, which makes it very easy for me to work with. All those tiles are also clickable. If I click on that, I will see the properties that belong to this filter. If I click on another one, I will be able to see different properties there as well. Finally, I'm able to use my filters. When I click on the filters, this is where I can see all the compliance items that can be applied to creditors or to owners. Or maybe I am interested to see a particular compliance type. Then clicking on the compliance type, drop-down menu here, I can pick the one that I'm interested in from the list, selecting it, clicking apply will show me if I actually have any items for this particular category. If there is nothing, the list will be empty. Clicking clear will bring up all of my compliance items together. Now, next, what we're going to have a look at, we're going to have a look at how to add your compliance items to your Reapit PM. Now, to do that, we will be going to the property. And for this particular example, I have a property in mind that I would like to work with. So I'm going to the list of my properties and I'm going to search for a particular property I would like to add item to. So this is the property I'm interested in. Clicking on that will bring up the list of the property, the file of the property. I've got two options how I can add my compliance items. First, at the very top, I've got the Add New button. Clicking on that will allow me to add a compliance item from here. Option 2, scrolling all the way to the bottom of the screen, and this is where I come to the compliance section. To add a compliance items, all I do, click Add Compliance. The drawer is now open on the right-hand side, and this is where I'm able to select the compliance item using the drop-down menu. So let's say what I'm working with, I would like to add the gas safety check. I'm able to assign it to a particular creditor, and I'm adding a creditor from my list. Let it be this company here. I can also add the date of the last inspection, and I can backdate this last inspection. Maybe it happened sometime towards the end of last year, and this was the date. I can also add the expiry date from here. Maybe it will be expiring sometime towards the next couple of months. If I have a certificate, I'm also able to upload it from here. Simply clicking on certificate will bring up the folder in my computer. I'm selecting the item that I'd like to add, clicking open will load the certificate to my system. If I have any notes, I can add my notes here. Scrolling down, at this point of time, I can actually save it, or I'm also able to add another compliance item at the same time, which actually is a lot easier for me as I'm working through my properties. I need to add a few compliance items. I can do it in the same step. Clicking add more opens up the compliance item number 2. This is when, again, I can select the compliance item and let this one be our smoke alarms, for example. Now, for the benefits of our Queensland clients, we also have these compliance checkbox here, so you can check it if and when required. Again, assigning our item to a particular creditor. So let's see if I have, I'll just go with Compliance Services Australia. I can add the date of my last inspection. Maybe it was just recently. And I will add another expiry date there as well. Let's say it will be sometime in the middle of next year. If I have a certificate, I can upload it at this point of time. Saving my items will bring up both of those against my property. And I can clearly see those items sitting here. Now that we've added our compliance items, let's actually navigate to the compliance workflow and start working with the automation. But prior to setting up those automations, you may want to update or check your templates. For the benefits of those who don't know how to do this or haven't done this in a while, or maybe just as a refresher for everyone else, let's quickly navigate to our templates. So to do that, we're going to our settings, scrolling down, templates, and this is where we'll be able to see all the templates that currently exist in the system. What we can do, we can use the filters to filter down to a particular category of templates. Now, let's say that I would like to have a look at all the templates that I have for my compliance workflow. Clicking on the category, selecting compliance, clicking apply. Now I've got a list of 9 items displaying different templates that can be used in my compliance workflow. All those flags indicate that these templates are a part of automation. Clicking on the 3 action dots and selecting Edit will allow you to work with the template. If you need to make any changes, simply work through your template and click Save when you're done. This is how you can update all your templates for your compliance items in particular. So back to our compliance workflow. Workflows, compliance. And this is where we can set our automation. Clicking on the settings will allow me to see if my automation is currently on or off. If I would like to edit those settings, I click on the pencil mark. And this is where I can start tweaking those settings to make sure that I'm staying on top of all of my items, all of my compliance items, and the system is working together with me to support me in my workflow. First of all, days before the expiry, 30 days. This is a very important area here because what it ensures that when you're adding your compliance items and you are setting the expiry date, this is when the item will be pulled into your compliance workflow. So 30 days before, the compliance process will start automatically. Automatically email requests can be sent at a particular period of time, so 30 days, 60 days, 15 days before the expiry, and you can also set the email time when it will be sent to your clients. You can work through the templates. You can see which templates are being used. Again, this is something that we have just covered, and if you'd like to edit those, this is how you can do this. You are also able to automatically send the reminders after your renewal request, when you want it to be sent, what you'd like to be sent, and whether you also would like to send your certificates automatically to your tenants, to your owners. And the very last bit is also quite important. You can actually decide whether entering a new date will automatically finalize your compliance item. If you don't want this to happen, simply tick this area off, tick it on, save your changes. Now, quite important thing to remember, when you're adding your compliance items, even if they're set to be less than the amount of days for the automation. So let's say the automation starts 30 days before the time, and you are adding the details, which means that the compliance item is, let's say, due within 7 days. The automation will still work. The emails will still go out. The system will still send those emails out. As long as the expiry date is not set in the past, the automation will still work for you. Quite an important part to remember when you're working with your compliance items. Now, everything is set up. We're happy with our settings, happy with our automations. Clicking save, closing this, and we're ready to work with our compliance workflow. So, when you are in our compliance workflow, we can go there either through your workflows and compliance, or you can go there through your properties, residentials, and compliance. Essentially the same thing. This is where you've got your at-a-glance filters. This is where you can start working with your items. Don't forget that you can apply special type of filters here as well. For example, I would like to have a look at all the compliance items that have been assigned for the smoke alarms. Clicking apply, I will see the items that are due. If I click on a particular compliance items, I can do quite a few things here. First of all, what I can do, I can send messages. If I click on the message, the system is asking me who I would like to send this message to. I can send the message to whoever the item is assigned to, be that my creditor or owner or body corporate. I can send an email to the owner or an email to the tenant. Let's say that I would like to reach out to the creditor. Clicking next will allow me either to use a blank template, or maybe I would like to send them a request to inspect the compliance, to inspect the compliance. Selecting this template will automatically populate all the area here. If I'm happy with what I see here, simply clicking send will send the email to all of the creditors. Now, when they get back to me, I'm able to update the details. I'm able to finalize the compliance from here. I'm able to add notes if and when required. Maybe I would like to send another message. Maybe I would like to send a message reminding them to return the certificate. Clicking send will send this message. Now, once the messages, the certificates have been sent to me and I've got them in my system, I can simply update the details from here. Clicking update details, this is where I can attach my certificate. Clicking on attach the file, selecting the certificate, clicking open will add the certificate to my property. I can add the inspection date. Maybe it happened yesterday. I can add the expiry date. Maybe it will be somewhere in, let's say, 26, again, in November. Clicking save, the compliance item has disappeared from my list. Now, can you guess why? We covered this in the settings on the automation. Just to remind you, if I go to edit my settings, this is what I've got on. I have set it up as automatically finalize my compliance item when I add a new date. This is what I did, and that's why I can no longer see my item in the compliance workflow. So this is how fast and efficient the automation is. Another feature, which is also really, really good. When you're working with your compliance items, sometimes you may receive multiple certificates or multiple properties. You are able to upload them in bulk. Let me show how this is done. I'm still in my compliance workflow, clicking Update Details. This is where I can choose the files that I would like to upload to the system. Clicking Choose Files, and I would like to upload multiple files. So I'm just looking at my notes here, and I would like to add these two compliance items. Now the system is processing the documents. Once processed, we can see the certificate of compliance, and this is where we can assign it to a particular property. Let's say it was property number 131 Victoria Road. I can add the compliance item from here, and I know that I had the compliance attached to them. Last inspected, expiry date. Again, I can update all of those and add those dates as required. Now, come on, I want it to be today. And the expiry date, I will go to sometime next year. Clicking Save and Next will take me to the second document. Again, I'm able to assign it manually to a property. Selecting the property, the item will be pulled up automatically because this property is currently in my workflow. Adding the inspection date, saying it was today, and the expiry date, setting it all up once again for some time, maybe actually in 2 years' time. Clicking Save, the items have been added. So you will be able to see all of those process multiple items at the same time. Now, something very important I also would like to mention. If you would like, or you expect, rather say, a compliance item to appear on your list, but it's not there, most probably it just hasn't been attached against your property. So to be able to find properties that have compliances, the compliances needs to be attached to the property first. And that's what we started with. And that's how we added a compliance item. Right. Finally, sometimes it could happen that the compliance item will come back to you, and unfortunately, it will not be compliant. So what we can do in those cases, we can actually update those details manually. Let's say we click on the property and we can update the details of the property. If I click on Attach Certificate, and I'm selecting the type of certificate, sorry, it was not, yeah. And I will also be able to see the type of the files here. Let me see, yeah. So once I edit the file, I'm able to select what type of file this is. Clicking Save will notify that the item that I have received is a non-compliant item. If and when this is done, those properties will be sitting under your non-compliant reports. So again, this is something that you will need to follow up on and finalize those items separately. Right, so what we have covered in this session today, we have covered how we have, we have covered how to set up your compliance automations, and how to use your compliance workflow to follow up creditors and your owners. I know that there's been quite a lot of activity in the chat, which is amazing. I know that the team is working hard in the background, answering all of your questions. I'm glad that this session was able to provoke all these questions. And please remember that if and when you need us, we are always here for you.